So, today is December 16th, which many believe is actually the true end of the Mayan calendar. And we just started a Stargazers group on Facebook, so I thought I would get an early start during the sunset to look for what's coming tonight. So we are looking to the west. This is west, and then we go to the southwest and we see Venus here. So this position of Venus tells us that it's been in the sky all day, but of course when the sky starts to darken, then we see it, and it's currently setting towards the west, just like all the heavenly bodies that rise in the east and set in the west. Venus is very bright tonight, and now we're in the period where Venus is the evening star. We see it in the evening, but we are transitioning to the time when Venus will be the morning star and will rise before the sun instead of setting after the sun. So Venus is trailing the sun in the sky, but it occasionally is a constellation behind the sun and occasionally one ahead of the sun. And basically what's happening is all the planets sometimes go into retrograde motion from the perspective of the Earth. So of course Venus has its cycle around the sun, and that doesn't change. But from the perspective of the Earth, because all the planets are moving simultaneously at different rates, Venus goes through the constellations just like every heavenly body. But sometimes during the year, Venus goes back through the constellations in the quote-unquote backwards order. So now we have Venus in Capricorn. That's not sidereal, but just for the purposes of this explanation, it's in Capricorn, so it's going to be moving back in Capricorn towards Sagittarius. So probably sidereal, meaning in alignment with the constellations themselves rather than the division of the heavens. Venus is around, actually I can check on my iPhone now using the Skyview app. So we'll hold up Skyview to Venus. See if we can get this. Yeah, there's Venus. Let's see if I can do this. So let's see what constellations are around. We have Capricorn. Okay, so Venus is actually in the constellation of Capricorn itself. That's interesting because also in astrology it's in the very beginning of Capricorn. So here we have the sun, which is set, which is in, see here's the serpent, which belongs to the 13th sign of Ophicuous. And here's Scorpio. So here we see the zodiac belt. Scorpio And we have, that's Mercury, yeah. Mercury and the Sun are just ahead of Scorpio in the sky, right? So they're just entering Sagittarius. Let's see if we can pull up Sagittarius on here. Yep, there's Sagittarius. And you see this very interesting point just between, let's see if we can get this. No, I shouldn't tilt it. If we can get this point just between Scorpio and Sagittarius right there, where the arrow of Sagittarius and the tail of Scorpio. So that is actually the point on the, this is what many think the Mayan calendar was forecasting, which of course this happens every year, but there's other things going on around these years, which is why the focus is on our time. But this point of the sun setting between the arrow of Sagittarius and the tail of Scorpio, which is amazing that we can pull it up on the iPhone right now. I mean, look at that demonstration. That's exactly what this calendar centers around, and many ancient prophecies. There's also theories that Nostradamus' lost book was looking at, I'm gonna get some stills of this, because this is really what it's all about. And we see Mercury right there too, the messenger, so insights. And also I think that's Pluto right up here. Yep, Pluto and Mercury. Very interesting. Just set, just below the horizon. So for us to have let's get all those constellations up again. Yeah, there we go. There's the arrow. The arrow. And yeah, I don't know if I can get them both again, but basically this is the dark rift. There we go. This is the dark rift. This is where our galaxy, the Milky Way, was born, from the space in between these two constellations, this highly dynamic space. Scorpio and Sagittarius, the Galactic Center. This is what the solstice is about. So we have the sun setting here tonight. Many say that tonight is the beginning of 13, 13, 13, the 13th cycle. The wrapping up of the 13th cycle, I believe, and the beginning of a whole new era. And here we have it on the iPhone. And we have Venus just behind Sagittarius. Just between Capricorn and Sagittarius. And that's Neptune right behind. The sky is darkening, Venus is getting brighter. So we'll just say one more thing before we wrap this up, which is that tonight is the full moon. So the full moon will be, you can also pull this up on the app. Let's see, let's find it first on the, okay, so this is the moon. There we have the moon. The moon just rose. And it's going to be in the sky until 7:20 a.m. So it just rose. The moon is in, oh wow, look at that. The moon is right at the head of Orion. Right next to Orion's belt, which is the nursery of the stars. According to many civilizations, according to ancient Egypt, the Dogon tribe, these three stars in Orion's belt are the imprint on which the pyramids were built. And right here we also see the horns of, there's Aldebaran, I believe, that bright star right in the horns of Taurus. So of course we're looking on the app now because my house is in the way of the star itself. So the full moon is rising right now above the horizon for anyone who has a view of the eastern horizon. Now, it is rising now. I'll just do a time check. Yeah, 5:30. 5:30 on the west coast. We have the moon and Aldebaran rising. Aldebaran is also connected to ancient societies and like esoteric wisdom schools who came to Earth and shared technologies with us. And there's also a lot of good info on Facebook through some Facebook friends of mine who I could possibly ask if I could list their profiles here. A lot of good info on Aldebaran, which I'm sure is connected to this full moon. Look, rising together on this fateful night across from the womb of of the galaxy, of our galaxy. We have the moon rising in Orion's belt. The gate of the moon between Taurus and Gemini. Let's see where Gemini is, just out of curiosity. Oh, okay, wow. So we have Jupiter in Gemini, right at the heart of the twins. Then we have the moon rising between this is so poetic. This night is really exciting. So let me just make sure that we got that all. Here we have Jupiter at the twins. Then we have the moon between the constellations between Taurus there we go, there's the bulls of the horn of the bull. The moon between Gemini and Taurus, which is the gate of the moon, opposite the gate of the sun where it just set, and also the moon adjacent to Orion and Orion's belt. The full moon rising on this fateful night with Aldebaran above Orion, the nursery of the stars, across from the womb of the galaxy. Pretty exciting. So basically the moon is going to, in terms of seeing it, it's visible already now if you have a view of the eastern horizon. But this is the path of the moon. Let's see if we can just follow this. I should really just be filming with the screen of my iPhone. I'll figure out how to do that. So we have the moon's trail through the sky. And it's gonna be like kind of, I'm gonna get it first with the phone, and then I'll bring the video camera to look, just to see when it's gonna be like right above us. So I'm following it. Okay, so I'm holding it, yeah. Okay, I hear my baby crying, so I'm gonna go inside. But basically, it's gonna be right overhead at midnight tonight, and then it's gonna be full right at 1:30 a.m. 1:30 a.m. on the west coast. So, of course, all the constellations are going to move too. So it's going to be near those same stars. So I'm going to sign off for now and see you at the full moon or later, and enjoy.